I hate being an introvert. But talking to people makes me so like, ugh. He said he'll get me to Grandmaster in one session. He's gonna make my head grow bigger. Look at this big old pug.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I like how you're switching up your defense. I think that's very good. I think most lower level players don't think about that stuff right away. But you were mixing it up. I think you could have killed me if you got the fireball super there after the cross medium kick, but that was a good try.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that last round you did a lot better because you activated V trigger basically, and then got me to block the air fireballs. I think the second time you went for a shimmy instead of throwing me again. But in that situation, like a good player is always going to take the throw because if I get shimmied there, I'm going to die
Right.
because you have super. So like 90% of the time against a good player, you should probably throw, but I think maybe against lower level players it makes sense because they're just going to tech every time. Make sure that you activate V trigger when you can because like that's a very powerful resource that you're kind of just ignoring sometimes and like letting go to waste.
I have trouble with offense, how patient and like more defensive I am. It's also like a bad thing too because I'm not going forward and like sometimes I'll just sit there.
I agree with that. Like it is both good and bad. I think like a lot of lower level players would just randomly jump and dash all the time because they think going forward is like the only thing you can do. Um, but I don't think it's like necessary for you to start developing that habit. I think it's fine for you to play the way you are playing, but just slowly try and incorporate more offense into your game. Like instead of just sitting there, start actively hitting some buttons like maybe go for crouch medium kick fireball a little bit more when you're in range to do that. Maybe throw a couple more fireballs. But it is hard to play a fireball character too, I think, because you'll get jumped in on a lot. Um, and as a Kuma, you can also just like sometimes just jump and mix up regular jumps with air jump fireball. Because like if I try to anti-air a regular jump in with crouch fierce, then if you do an air fireball, my crouch fierce will lose if you space it correctly. So like mixing up your options for that would be good too.
I thought that I would have to be, I guess, like more aggressive in a way. So
So there's one thing I think you can be more aggressive about. It's taking space and pressing buttons. I would say like what other people might think of as aggressive, like jumping and dashing, you don't need to do right now. Um, like there's such things as like good jumps and good dashes, but um, it's kind of hard to figure that stuff out immediately. Um, but I think like this set just try to like walk forward a little bit into your range where you can press buttons. I think some good buttons would be like stand fierce and crouch medium kick. Just like try and walk forward into the range where I'll block them and then just hit them, and you can do like crouch medium kick fireball. Also stand medium kick red fireball is good if you space it well. V trigger fireball is like just a very strong tactic at any level. Like I don't think silver rank players are like ever gonna stop that really. You can like wait, and against good players like there's one difference that they do. It's that they mix up their jump air fireballs with regular jumps, because if I'm scared of air fireball, then I just won't anti-air. So if you watch like Tokido or Samurai play and they just activate V trigger, um, a lot of the times they'll just jump fierce because they know you're scared of the air fireball. So that's something you could incorporate. But I think like at silver ranks around there, people probably would just get hit by the air fireball if anything. Yeah, I would say it's not worth it to spend your V reversal at that point,
Okay.
because then you're not going to get V trigger, and that's like um your main chance at making a comeback. Um, yeah, I think for now you should probably just not use V reversal and just focus on getting V trigger.
Hmm.
But as you'll improve, you'll see situations in which V reversal is important. Yeah, I think a lot of the time when you're on offense, you just seem kind of hesitant. Um, so maybe I think you just need to be like a little bit more confident sometimes when you're approaching.
Hmm.
Uh, because a lot of the time you'll just walk back, and I think it's I think the reason you're doing it is just because you're scared I'll like hit a button or something, and not like the reason the high level players will walk back during their pressure is because they expect their opponent to whiff a button and then they'll go whiff punish. Um, but it seems more like you're just kind of scared that your offense will not work out, so you'll back off.
Right.
Um, so if that's the case, you should just like go forward, because I'm scared to hit a button if you're plus, and you will more than likely either get a counter hit or like you can walk forward and throw me more. For a good portion of the round, I was just like sitting there blocking, so just walking forward, scaring me, so that I have to take the throw or get hit by a button.
Is like plus or rep move is minus, like the frame, like how I could beat that. So I guess that's why I'm like probably like hesitant to move forward and like press a button, if that makes sense.
Okay, because you're like not sure what her frame data is and stuff, or
Yeah.
what options she has. Hmm.
Um yeah, I know it sounds kind of weird.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I think a decent amount of players are like that, where they feel more comfortable when they know all the frame data and stuff. There's like a couple weird players that just are very high level without knowing any frame data, but I think most people do feel more comfortable when they understand the game, like what what the situation is at every point in time. And right now, you just don't have that information in your mind right now.
Mhm.
So I think if you want to like learn all the frame data and stuff, which is good, I think that's something that's important as you're improving. I think first learn the frame data for your character. So the most important things would be like the startup of your normals. So if you know that your stand medium kick, for instance, starts up in 5 frames, then anytime you see a move that's -5 or more, you know it's punishable.
Mhm.
So that way you just always have it in your brain that something is if something is this amount, I can punish it with this button. So knowing the startup of your normals is very good. Knowing how punishable some of your moves is also good to make sure that you're not doing punishable things. Then after you learn the frame data for your character, then I think knowing what things are punishable is important.
When is it the right? Should I even like pay attention to V reversal or more so like V trigger at this like level?
I think like V reversal has its uses if an opponent is pressuring you and you're like in a guess and you just don't want to take the guess, you can V reversal. But in general, like the guess you're taking is just like a throw's worth of damage, so you can just block and take the throw. Um, Whereas if you V reversal the re- and doing the V reversal causes you to not get V trigger for the whole round, like your V trigger is worth like 3 or 4 throws at least. So it's like not a good trade off to make.
Okay.
Um, and especially if you're at a life deficit, um, like if V trigger is your main way you make a comeback, and you can't really make a comeback without it, then I would say like you just want to keep it at all costs, even if the guess might make you lose. You just want to have a chance to win still. But yeah, I think the main things, just slowly learn frame data. That'll make you more comfortable. Activate V trigger and just go for a lot of throws and offense. Don't be unconfident in that. Um, and yeah, just in general, just walk forward more and press buttons and not just wait there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Neff. Yeah. I have lots to learn. But yeah, I basically just really have to play it, you know, just as you said, and you know, just gain that experience, lose a lot, but also learn from it. Now, I need to learn more about my character. That's the hardest part because Akuma has a lot of shit. But I only really need to learn the basics of Akuma for now.